Chalo, chalu. Let's
Sure.
go. Let's go.
And we are live for episode 18 of the Panenka View podcast. Joining me on the podcast is my co-host Supratim Gupta. Supro, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, all good.
And we've got a very special guest as a Liverpool fan in this episode, Rishikesh. Rishikesh, hi. All
Hello,
high on mood right now.
on cloud nine, dude.
Liverpool top of the table, 4 points ahead of Manchester City. Christmas has come early, I must say.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
Prithvi, who is just experiencing another loss at the hands of Leicester. I mean, it's mixed emotions, right, Prithvi? Like beating Man City and then losing to Leicester City.
That's been the story of this season.
So, guys, we are going to discuss the games from the weekend. Mind you, that Spurs versus Everton isn't done yet. It will be tonight, but we'll put up the score on the Twitter handle. So make sure to check it out. And I have a few questions going straight to Rishikesh.
Yeah.
And Rishikesh, Wolves versus Liverpool, two-goal victory. Virgil van Dijk goal there. 15 points in FPL, by the way. So, take me through that game. Your thoughts
So,
on the game, by the way.
so the game started very slowly. If you have seen the game, we didn't play as good as we played in the second half and the first half. So we started very slowly, and they actually had three or four very good chances. Like Fabinho lost the ball, Naby Keita lost the ball. So they had really good chances, but then we have Virgil van Dijk again at the defense. So that was not a problem. But then that was a class finish by Mohamed Salah. Once again, it's not a easy finish. So it's amazing, and Van Dijk is colossus. You don't have any words for that guy. It's just amazing.
Yeah, your standout performance from that game, if it's a
Uh,
rhetorical question.
for me, Roberto Firmino. Firmino played really good in that game.
And along with Salah and Van Dijk, and obviously Allison, who's there, we've been mentioning this on the podcast that Liverpool have invested in at the right side of the
Yeah, yeah,
field. The Coutinho money has gone into Van Dijk and Allison, and that has really made a lot of difference. And Supro,
Yeah.
going to you on, did you expect only a 2-0 win, or did you expect a much close encounter at Molineux?
Well, I saw the game, and Liverpool they started the game well, but Wolves were pressing them high up the pitch.
yeah,
Yeah, I expected Wolves to drop back, play on the counter, but I guess they opted for a different plan and they were pressing them. But the problem was with the pressing, it wasn't organized, so they were leaving a lot of spaces behind for Liverpool. And obviously, Liverpool are the team that introduced pressing and counter pressing, Gigant pressing, as we all know. In England, they made it so popular. So they know at the back of their hand how to, bypass the system, and they're doing it beautiful. They're doing it spectacularly, and as a result, they score the first goal from Mohamed Salah. Firmino with a good assist, and Mohamed Salah with a cheeky finish. And after that, after the first goal, I think Wolves even got more spring in the steps, and they started attacking Liverpool even more. They attack
Hmm.
through Jota, they attack through Cavallero, they attack through Doherty, the most popular fullback in FPL at the moment, and he was hitting shots left, right, and center. So I thought Wolves might score at halftime. I think they were a bit unlucky to not go 1-1 at halftime. They should have scored
yeah.
at least one. But in the second half, Liverpool completely controlled the game. Wolves didn't have a sniff on target, and then Van Dijk scored the second goal, and it was all over for Wolves.
And that's the story, that they have a stable backline now, and
Yeah.
the money from Coutinho has been invested so well. There's squad depth. There's a manager who's been trusted throughout these years, and the results are there to be seen. Like building upon it game
And I
by
would
game, and
especially like to mention the midfield. We have backup midfielders, like pretty good backup midfielders. If you see, we have like seven midfielders in the midfield, so that eases us the pressure. Because last season, what happened was we got exhausted at the end. We gave everything on every match, and we didn't have the necessary stamina. If you remember, during the end of the last season, we uh, we didn't play our full squad in the Premier League because we had to rest our players for the Champions League. So that made a huge difference. I
Hmm.
remember we played with Dominic Solanke and Danny Ings against Everton in the derby.
Hmm.
So that's a huge difference there because we have good backup players. We
Hmm.
have Shaqiri, we have uh,
You
even
have
Origi is playing
Wijnaldum, you
well.
have Milner, yeah, you have
Yeah,
Milner, you have Wijnaldum, you have, and in the back line as well. So,
yeah,
Supro, Liverpool are on top,
Yeah.
but let's turn our attention to the second game from the Premier League weekend, which is, by the way, this doesn't mean Jose. This means the scoreline at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1,
Yeah.
and a game that pretty much had 3 points for us, for Arsenal, written all over it. And there was a lot of physicality in that game, a lot of tackles thrown in, a lot of elbows, and the opposition manager comments on diving. So your thoughts on the game, Arsenal versus Burnley.
Yeah, in the last episode, we discussed that Burnley will play with a low block and Arsenal have to take out the result if they want to win this game. And they did that. Great finish by Aubameyang for the first goal, side foot finish. And then we scored the second goal just out of the half, just at the start of the second half. Aubameyang with a beautiful finish, slammed it into the goal. And I think we were comfortable till the time Ashley Barnes pulled one back. It was a mix up in the box. The Arsenal couldn't fail to clear the ball, and as a result, Burnley took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it was a bit tense till the end. And at the end, we scored the third goal as a result, and as a result for that, because of that, we got the result. We won 3-1.
And
And
yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah,
key
yeah,
point, yeah, a key point. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to take your attention to the number 10, the man in with the number 10 jersey, who was criticized
Mesut
throughout.
Ozil.
Yes, he was criticized
Yeah.
throughout, and that pass was sensational for Kolasinac. I mean, he was not even in the frame, and we've seen Ozil do that with Montreal as well, away to in an away game.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
too good of a pass. Too good of
Against
a pass.
Swansea.
Mesut Ozil's importance, Mesut Ozil's performance from last night, and mind you, the media was reporting a bust up between Emery and Ozil, and Emery
Yeah,
actually gave the captain's armband to Ozil.
Yeah.
It was like a statement made there. So, yeah, your thoughts on Ozil?
Yeah, he did what he had to do. Gave a beautiful ball to Kolasinac, and we couldn't even spot Kolasinac in the television. To understand how good his vision is. I've already
Absolutely.
said that Mesut Ozil brings a lot to this team, then he takes away. People criticize him for his defensive work rate, but he has not been brought to run up and down the pitch. He has been brought to make sure that our striker scores, our wingers score, and to give and to create chances. And I understand if Unai Emery wants to bring the average age of the squad down because he wants a system where his players press high up the pitch, work throughout the 90 minutes. But you won't get that from Mesut Ozil. What you will get is an attacking talent, an attacking potential, where he will make sure that our strikers score in plenty. And even in games like this, like the one against Burnley, where teams will come with a low block and
yeah,
defend low in the pitch, Mesut Ozil will provide you final balls and through balls that will unlock the defenses. So I can understand if Unai Emery wants players that will play the way that he wants, but he cannot do it this season. He doesn't have the players to do that. So he has to at least
Mhm.
make sure that we get in the Champions League
Mhm.
with the players we have, and then in the summer he can he can scout the midfielders that he wants. But trying to break the team's morale by taking out your best player, the best played player in the for Arsenal in the Premier League isn't the right way to do. He's obviously our best player in the squad. He's the game changer. So it's better to play him till the end of the season, and then from there we can go on and sign the players that we want.
so
So, Subro, one final question on the Arsenal Burnley game is, if you had three players, three positions, you could sign three positions. I'm not even talking about players, I'm talking about positions.
Yeah,
Three positions who you would like Emery to, shore up in the next few transfer windows.
pretty simple. Centre back, a left back, and a left wing, right winger who is a left-footed player. These are the
Yeah,
three players that Arsenal desperately need to improve the squad.
absolutely. And Mkhitaryan out. Mkhitaryan said, sold if he's going.
happens if Aaron Ramsey is leaving and if Mesut Ozil is leaving? What will happen to the defense?
Yeah, yeah, Supro.
He's gone offline.
Yeah, he's disconnected.
Yeah, so let's turn our attention to Prithvi. And Prithvi, Leicester City was Chelsea versus Leicester City at Stamford Bridge. Didn't really, go the way Sari wanted or Chelsea fans wanted. What really went wrong in that game?
Again, it's the same old story. We were very good in the first half. Obviously, they were holding a very deep defensive line, because of which we couldn't get through them. Hazard had a very good chance. He absolutely battered the post, so that was one chance which we should have taken. And the second half, we just concede a goal, and then everything goes haywire. There's no. Uh, I mean, Sari put it very well in his post-match conference when he said that till the first 55 minutes we were playing as a team, and as soon as we go 1-0 down, we start playing like 11 individuals. So that's a little
Yeah,
scary, and I've always had this fear that this will harm us much more in the future, because we did react in a similar way against Manchester United when we went a goal down. We were lucky to get an equalizer in the 97th minute. Not very often that happens. Then a similar thing had happened at Tottenham, where we went two goals down and we had absolutely no response to that. Again, against Wolverhampton, we had a very similar thing which was going on, and
hmm.
which continued in the game against Leicester. You dominate the first half, you have all the chances, you have most of the possession, you have like 15, 18 shots on target, and you actually end up on the losing side. So that's been a big characteristic under Sari, which needs to be addressed. We lack a centre forward. We really desperately need a centre forward this January. Be it Callum Wilson, Danny Ings, or even an average centre forward, who has been playing in the Premier League and scoring say even 15 goals. Because every time any team who wins the Premier League, they have
Hmm.
to have a centre forward who scores 20 odd goals. City had Aguero. The likes of Manchester United had Robin van Persie, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Chelsea had Diego Costa, Didier Drogba, who won us so
Drogba,
many titles. So I don't think you can win a title without a proper centre forward. Yeah, there is an argument you can play Eden Hazard at false nine, but I think we've won the last two titles on the basis on a very simple strategy that you give the ball to Eden Hazard and he does everything. So
Yeah.
that's not going to hold true unless you have a good centre forward. He's that good that he can actually dominate the game and he can change the results on his own. But he needs someone to get on the end of things, and we don't have anyone. Willian has been terrible. Pedro has been so-so, and Mateo Kovac is as good as he's been on the ball. He doesn't add too much in terms of goals. He's got like one assist in the entire season. So I don't know where the goals are going to come from. If you can't rely on one player to win you the league, or
And
even come in the top four for that matter. Winning is not our target this season.
that's been the story from Stamford Bridge, where we thought that Hazard and even Alonso had equalized, but the ball really didn't go in. It was not Chelsea's day at
yeah,
the bridge. And Supro, we have you back. We are going to turn our attentions to quickly to Etihad, where Roy Hodgson's men delivered one of the results of the season, one of the shocks of the season. We also saw one of the goals of the season from Townsend, who
yeah.
was a standout performer. There was a clear match winner. I'm going to go first to Supro, and I'm then going to come to Rishikesh. And Supro, the very first question: Fernandinho missed last night, and John Stones' position exploited.
Yeah, I think so. But Pep was unfortunate with Fernandinho's injury, so he had to play John Stones over there. Now, in the post-match conference, he said that he put in John Stones because of his height, because Crystal Palace play a lot of long balls. They are strong aerially, they are dominant aerially. So Pep Guardiola wanted to negate that quality of theirs, and hence he played John Stones in the midfield. But I think what he lacked with John Stones was mobility. With the and Fernandinho, the one good quality of Fernandinho is that he anticipates interceptions quite quickly, and as a result, he wins the ball and he passes the ball quickly to the midfield for them to putting the wingers and the strikers through. That is something which Manchester City lacked yesterday.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think I think I saw a bit of fear in the performance because Liverpool were 4 points ahead of them before the start of the game, and we must not forget that the last time Pep Guardiola had a proper title challenge, a proper title challenger was Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid
Yeah.
in Barcelona in 11-12. And after that, he left. He took a sabbatical. He joined Bayern Munich. And even in his first season, Borussia Dortmund had that bad season under Jurgen Klopp, where they were bottom of the
Yeah.
table.
They were 18th.
They were 18th, and so he never had a proper title challenge, no, a proper title challenger. All his 3 seasons at Bayern Munich were pretty easy, if I can put
Yeah.
it that way. All the
Correct.
3 titles, and even in the first season, he obviously had to make sure that Manchester City were at least in the top four, and he had to note out the players that he wanted and the players that he didn't want. Then he improved the squad and achieved that 100-point title win next year, where even Manchester United didn't push them as much as we thought. But this year, Liverpool are pushing them, and Liverpool are not only pushing them, they're above them. And Manchester City know that they're in for a good title challenge. So I
And
think,
yeah, correct. And that Jan game, the first week of Jan, the thriller between City and
3rd
Liverpool
Jan.
at
Yeah.
the Etihad is going to be a 6 pointer. Is for basically going to decide who go if. By the way, Liverpool win all their games, City win all their games, and go into that and beat Liverpool. Then City might narrow it down, but if Liverpool win, it's a 7 point gap
yeah,
from there.
Yeah.
And then 7 point gap is basically something if it's not too big in the Premier League, but with the squad depth that Liverpool has, and I'm going to go straight to Rishikesh.
Yeah.
And Rishikesh, first of all, that excitement on your face after City lost last night. So, how do you see City recover from their loss in the next game, and what do you think will be Pep's plan now that he's 4 points behind?
I think they would go for a defensive midfielder in the January transfer window because they don't have a backup for Fernandinho. So that's why they were trying to buy Jorginho, and they didn't get him. So they really lack a defensive midfielder if Fernandinho gets injured. So I feel they'll go for a defensive midfielder. And another thing that I wanted to point out is that Manchester City has always succumbed to pressure when it comes to Champions League, when it comes to pressure situations. They couldn't handle it properly. Last year, when they lost to us, they lost also to Manchester United after the game. So I don't think they handle pressure pretty well, and that's why they don't win Champions League or they
But
don't go ahead in the Champions League.
one thing we're all missing out on is the fact that they've had a lot of key injuries. They actually started that game without Fernandinho, without Sergio Aguero, without Kevin De Bruyne, without David Silva. So,
yeah,
we're making a little too much out of it because once they have their full squad, and, when Chelsea beat them, they didn't have the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero, who were the best players last season. So we also have to factor in that into account. We discount that in terms of City because they've got such a big squad, but you
Absolutely.
do need your key players to be fit. So say Liverpool misses out on Salah for like a few weeks or a Van Dijk. So I'm pretty sure they are going to drop points because there's a high level of reliability on a couple of players or maybe 3 4 players. So I think that also has to be taken into account, and this is a very crucial time.
Yeah.
It's when the fixture congestion is the maximum.
The
So I
festive
think
period.
it is
I
going
think,
to be a tougher challenge than we think.
So
It is right
yeah.
now.
but
So
I
I
think they're
was
missing David Silva more than any player. Bernardo Silva is
Exactly.
a good player, but he isn't
Yeah.
in the level of David Silva. I think
Yeah,
they're
true, true,
missing
true.
him the most.
He lacks the experience of the Premier League. One more thing that
Hmm.
I was reading ESPN's article like half an hour ago. So the writer made an interesting point that similar in the similar stage last year, City got results. They got lucky. They got last minute winners. They scrambled through the results. They won by 1-0 or 2-1 against Huddersfield, Brighton, I guess. So this time they are not getting the results, and Liverpool are getting them. If you've seen, we have won 1-0 against Brighton. We have won 1-0 against Huddersfield. We got that last minute winner against Everton in the derby. So luck is on our side this season, and but I'm not going to jinx it. by saying that we are going to win the Premier League because we all know what happened during 13-14 season. So
And
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going
have,
to jinx it.
there was
Prithvi,
an interesting stat. There was a very interesting stat that in the past 8 years, seven
Yeah,
who've led the table at Christmas have actually gone on to win the league. The only team which didn't do that was Liverpool in 2014.
and
and
that's
it also
twice. So
happened
it's
in
actually, it's
eight
actually
nine season.
twice. It's
Yeah,
actually twice. And I remember the first season I started watching 8-9 was again
Rafa
when Liverpool were top.
Benitez. Yeah.
And I have a bottle with me, and I hope Liverpool don't bottle it. So I'm going to drink some water here, and I'm going to
Very
focus
poor
straight.
man.
You know, I'm going to focus straight on Cardiff versus Man United, where we don't have a United fan when we need, when they were out, and I'm going to go straight to Supro and Ole at against his former side, 5 goals. The first time they've scored 5 goals since Sir Alex's last game, which was 5-5 against West Brom.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we discussed in the preview episode how shit Cardiff were, and Paul Pogba starting, Matic, Herrera, Lingard, Rashford, Martial. So I must say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer pretty much got the lineup right.
Yeah.
And we could all see Victor Lindelof was a bit more adventurous going forward. He was able to express himself, which I think he didn't do under Jose Mourinho. So, bro, Cardiff versus Man United, how would you comment on that game?
Yeah, in the preview we said that Cardiff were a very bad team and Manchester United should beat them, even with Jose. So without Jose, they smashed 5 goals past them. And yeah, they were pretty comfortable. Even I think they scored 3 goals in the first half itself. And the third goal was a thing of art. Beautiful goal by
Yeah,
Pogba, Martial, Lingard, and all combining to score that
Rashford.
wonderful Rashford, all combined to score that wonderful goal. And Manchester United fans are very optimistic now after beating Cardiff City. They cannot believe that they can finish in the top four. They might beat Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. They can win the FA Cup. They can do every sort of thing. And like they're going to Cardiff City 5-1. So yeah, yeah, I
And
think yeah,
is a quadruple possible this season?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
why not? With Manchester United, everything is possible. Indian Idol, Big Boss, Club World Cup, everything is possible.
But then I always thought of Manchester United before Alex Ferguson left that it is a very cocky team. Like they get results they want every time, or at least they fight. And I saw that fight last in the last game, which was missing during Jose Mourinho's era. Like United was always cocky.
I'm going to, before I move on to the preview of the games of the Boxing Day, I'm just going to say that, Moyes came in, he left. United fans went, Moyes shit, this, that, when Van Gaal came. Van Gaal left, Mourinho came in, Van Gaal is shit. Now Mourinho's gone and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in. So Mourinho is shit. But the key point everyone has to focus on is that they need a director of football
Yeah,
who
yeah.
can handle things, who better, because Eddie Woodward is going to handle the commercial part of it,
Commercial
but
part.
the footballing decisions that need to be taken, once now that Sir Alex Ferguson left, that the boardroom is still a mess. This could be a cycle, and United are really to be tested the next. So we move on to the preview episode, preview part of and it's Boxing Day, and happy holidays to everyone. So, let's go first to the late game, the late kickoff from the Boxing Day. Prithvi, we are going to come to you next, and we are slowly going to go to Rishikesh on Liverpool versus Newcastle. But Supro, Brighton versus Arsenal, both
Yeah.
their centre backs suspended. Dunk and Duffy. So 3 points for Arsenal, scrappy 3 points, easy 3 points. And the main question is Montreal had a hamstring yesterday, so clearly I fear he shouldn't start Koscielny there and Zaka, which means another blunder, from him.
Yeah.
So your comment on the starting lineup and how do you want things to go? Like how would you feel?
Yeah, I think Prasad, your fears are going to come true because Emery confirmed the question will start versus Brighton. And I don't blame him because we lack centre back so badly. And it doesn't even make sense to play Granit Xhaka over there because he is clearly a midfielder who wants to stay there. And even against Burnley, he started in the midfield position because of Monreal's injury. He had to go back to being a centre back. So but with Socrates there, I think Koscielny should be fine. And Lichtsteiner will start at right back, and Kolasinac will start at his left back position. And you made a good point that Brighton's defenders are suspended for the game, which is a good thing because usually we are on the other side of suspending
Absolutely.
people and
Yeah.
injury. So I hope that Aubameyang turns up and explores that situation of Brighton centre backs being not present, and we win this game because we need to.
And the next question to you is Torreira on 4 yellows. And if he starts that game,
Yeah,
one more yellow, and the next game coming up is Liverpool.
yeah, yeah,
And we are at Anfield, which means we need him the most there. So, I hope that goes well. And Prithvi, we are going to go straight to you now on Chelsea's fight back from defeat. You have Watford away and you have Palace away, by the way, the next 2 games. But we are going to focus on the Watford game, who I
Hmm.
won yesterday. So, what different do you think will Sari make changes in the lineup from the defeat at Leicester? And do you think Callum Hudson-Odoi should be given a chance now that everyone's so much onto Willian and he's not performing?
No, actually, to be very honest, I don't know what to expect from Chelsea at this point of time. I expected them to lose against City. They ended up winning. I expected them to, win at least 5 of the next 6 games. They've lost 1 and 2. So I really don't know what's going to happen. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi should definitely feature on the bench. And we have Loftus-Cheek, who is a way better option than Willian on the wing. I mean, we
Yeah.
can even play. Then we have Ross Barkley, who can come in for Mateo Kovacic. Mateo Kovacic is very important to the kind of football we play, but I don't think he adds any end product to the team, which is a big problem because the LCM is supposed to be one of the most attacking midfielders in Sari's formation, and he needs to score at least 8-10 odd goals. And Mateo Kovacic hasn't scored a goal in 72 league games, which is like way too much for a defender. I remember John Obi Mikel, Michael Essien had such bad conversion rates who were playing, deep in the midfield, or maybe a Claude Makelele.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not done. We need goals. We need goals in this team. We have a lot of chances, but we need people to put it in the back of the net. So I'm just hoping that we manage to actually. First of all, very important is not to concede a goal, because if we concede a goal, we're going to lose. Or we're going to lose our shit anyways, because we're going to get really nervous and we won't know where to pass, and the entire Sari ball gets thrown out of the box. So I'm just hoping we don't concede a goal and we play the football we've been playing all season, and then let's hope we have a relatively easy run of fixtures till we in the next 5 game weeks. So I hope we get wins in those and continue to compete in a top 4 position. I
And
can't ask for more.
and
I have a question.
pretty good point. Rishikesh, before you, yeah, please go on.
So, don't you think Ross Barkley should start instead of Mateo Kovacic because he has scored a couple of goals?
Yeah, I think my first option would be Ruben Loftus-Cheek, because he, as well as he's also scored 3 goals, but he adds a lot more to the game. He can actually run past defenders and he can bully defenders. He's the strongest guy we have in our team. So I think he should be a week in week out starter, because at any position we put him on the wing, put him in on the left side of midfield, he's going to bully defenders. He's going to take people on and he's going to beat them with ease. So I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek would be my first choice out of the 3. But I don't know what Sari's thinking. I think he's trying to put in the faith in the players. He got Mateo Kovacic from Real Madrid, which was considered a coup at that point of time, because we got him for free on a loan. So I think he should give him a couple of games. But after that, if things don't change, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek has to come in. He understands, what being a Chelsea player is. He's been with the club since he was 8. And I'm pretty sure he's going to put twice the effort which any other player would put for the shirt. So I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek should start in
Key
my
points
opinion.
and key points from Prithvi, who we expect. So that's the key point you made was you don't know what to expect from Chelsea, and that's been the story of many of my friends who are Chelsea fans who are who have said the same thing, that they beat City, Man City, they lost against Leicester City, and I hope Watford, and they have Palace next, which is tricky, but we have to move on to Liverpool versus Newcastle quickly, Rishikesh. And I'm not going to go into lineups. I'm not going to go into the tactics. I'm just going to go on, the prediction, an easy win, a thumping win, and what do you think of make of that game
I
on the
think they're going
boxing
to rest players, so I don't think it would be a thumping victory. I would I would say it would be a 1-0 or a 2-0 win for Liverpool.
at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, Supro, we don't have a United fan here, and we have to discuss a few things. And Man United play Huddersfield,
Yeah,
correct? Man
exactly.
United play Huddersfield.
Yeah.
So another Ole Ole performance or anything else we can expect? Another shock or no? It will be a win for United.
No, I think even Manchester United should win this game as well. Huddersfield lost 3-1 to Southampton at home, and the change and the shackles have been removed. Everything, all the colonial rule has been abolished. 2.0 is gone. So yeah, attacking football has returned back to Old Trafford. So I think yeah, Manchester United should win that game easily.
If we chanted Dikka Dikka, even the United fans will join in right now. So a quick mention to Southampton, who just won their second game in a row last night. Ralph Hasenhuttl getting his second win in a row, and that pretty much takes them obviously out of the top bottom three, and they are building towards a stable season is what we can see from the results, but what we can see from the spirit of the players. We've spoken pretty much about everything. The shock from game week 18 is that Palace have beaten City at home 3-2, and Leicester City go with all 3 points from Stamford Bridge, beating Chelsea. Arsenal comfortable winners over Burnley 3-1, a very physical game, and Cardiff succumbed to a 5-1 defeat. Ole, ole, ole. And that should be it from this episode of the Panenka View, episode number 18. I hope you've enjoyed the discussions. I hope you like, comment, share the video. Please do comment your thoughts below, and let us know what you feel on the games from the weekend and from the midweek on the Boxing Day. And as you know, another announcement is that we are on Hubhopper app. Panenka View is now on 11 audio platforms in inside 2 months, and we will be completing 2 months in the next episode. So I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I hope we are looking forward to seeing all of you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.